to put it back on mute though. Till we start. Okay, Joe? Okay. Yeah, sounds good. Thanks. Bye. Good evening and welcome to the council meeting of the Town of Newmarket on Monday, December the 2nd, 2013. All members of council are present and Mayor Van Bynen is presiding.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. There are no matters of public notice. There is an addendum to our agenda, and that's defined in the addendum that was circulated December 2nd. Could I please have a motion to adopt those changes? Councillor Emanuel, Councillor Kerwin, all those in favor? That is carried. Thank you. Are there any declarations of pecuniary interest? Regional Councillor.
Thank you very much. On the Committee of the Whole closed session of November 25th, which is item number 1, and Committee of the Whole November 25th, and the open session item number 2, portion 2C, both relate to appointments to the Hydro Board. My father is currently on the Hydro Board in his last year, and due to that, I will declare a conflict and not participate, as I have not in the past.
Thank you. There is no listings for presentations and recognitions or deputations. Approval of minutes, council meeting of November the 12th. Are there any corrections? Moved by Councillor Emanuel, seconded by Councillor Twinney. All those in favor? It's carried. Special council minutes of November the 25th. Councillor Emanuel. Councillor Sponga. All those in favor? That is carried. Nothing is listed under correspondence or petitions. Reports by regional representatives. Regional Councillor.
Thanks very much. A couple of just quick items to touch on today. First of all, at the last meeting of Regional Council, we had a deputation, a visit from John Tory, the chairperson of the Civic Action, and he was making the case for sustained transit infrastructure funding. I'm sure many have heard about this discussion and debate and about the role that John Tory is playing as chairperson of the Civic Action Alliance. This is around the Your 32 campaign, and the Your 32 campaign provides 32 ways people's lives could be improved if they spent 32 fewer minutes each day commuting. I'm sure all of us know someone. I can speak for my wife. I'm sure others know many people that would love to spend 32 minutes less commuting each day, and what that would do for the quality of life. Never mind what that would do for our economy. One of the numbers that's referred to the most, and it's even probably somewhat outdated, is that the GTA loses about $6 billion annually due to lost productivity as a result of congestion. And we have, unfortunately, as the Greater Toronto Area, been declared pretty much we have been declared the longest commute times in North America, even exceeding Los Angeles. So this John Tory was there once again just to bring his message to Regional Council, to thank members of council for their support for the efforts that are being made. And this is really a campaign right now just to ensure that people are speaking about the need for dedicated funding for greater amounts of transit in the GTA. It's not about what types of funding at this point. It's just about building a consensus that we need to act. The only way to act is with dedicated funding, and we need to move quickly. Also, I just want to touch on, and I have mentioned in this chambers before, but it was at Regional Council and has passed. We've moved forward on a pilot project, and that's in conjunction with the town of Newmarket, and this council as well has dealt with this issue around this table. And the region is moving forward with a site-specific pilot project, which involves a deferral, which is the delay of payment of development charges in relation to a rental proposal. This is an area that the Human Services Planning Board, and my involvement there, has been working on for some time. The region's been highlighting for some time the desperate need for rental in our communities. The simplest, there's a lot of statistics I could share, but probably the best way to put it is that in 2012, in a region of 1.1 million people that added that year 25,000 people to the population, we added only 33 units of rental housing. And we know we need a good mix of housing options for a sustainable community and a healthy community, and this is an area of great need. So to see this pilot project moving forward, thanks to staff at the town of Newmarket, this council, and staff at the region and regional council, We hope to be moving forward. The pilot project's approved and in place, but hope to be seeing a 180-unit purpose-built private rental development on Davis Drive in Newmarket. This is, I think, an area hopefully that this can set the stage for this to happen throughout the region and see a revival of rental again and being built in our communities. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I'll take this opportunity to review the highlights of the proposed 2014 budget for the region. The region is proposing an operating budget of $891.9 million. And this is after they've achieved $5.9 million in savings and the revenue target that was established last year. It does represent a reduced tax levy from what was proposed at 1.75 to 1.54, and it does provide for increased contributions to debt reduction and capital and asset replacement. Now, the share of your net regional tax dollars is broken down that 71 cents of every dollar is allocated to either police, transit, community and health services, or roads. 39 cents or 31 cents of every dollar goes towards police services, 15 cents for transit, 12 cents for community and health services, 8 cents for roads, and asset replacement represents around 9%. What this provides for is 16 new police officers and 30 civilian staff within the police department, 18 new paramedics that will be serving high call volume areas, and it also includes investments in community and health services under the multi-year plan initiatives, as well as investments in the housing programs, and it includes increased contributions to nonprofit housing capital repair reserve. Now, the 2014 capital budget has a total of $1.171 billion, and the total capital budget is in the range of $6.6 billion. And most of that, 84% of it, relates back to transportation services, water, wastewater, and rapid transit. What's significant in this budget is that there's some proposed adjustments to the fiscal strategy, which has virtually eliminated all of the new tax levy debt to be issued, with the next projected tax levy debt only being planned in 2017 to 2019, and I believe that relates to the new annex expansion. But they're going to be taking a more integrated approach to debt and reserve management, and that'll lead to a lower peak for our debt and a faster decline in the peak for debt borrowings. It'll reduce our 10-year capital plan by $1.2 billion, and it'll increase our focus on debt reduction and new reserve management strategy. And finally, it'll set a medium and long-term goal of eliminating the tax levy supported debt for all but the largest projects. And we'll continue to aggressively save for asset renewal and asset replacement. In all the years that I've been here, this is probably the most promising budget that I've seen. And I do commend the regional staff for the progress that they've made. Any questions? Councilor DiMuccio?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thanks for the reports. I actually have a question that concerns me that is making local news within York Region, and that has to do with the QP Local 905 threat to, or favor, 78% in favor of strike action last week on Wednesday. And we might be in a, very well might be in a strike or lockout position this Thursday. So I had some questions pertaining to a column that I read in the paper. And we're talking about 2,200 regional employees, including water and wastewater personnel, planners, engineers, mechanics, road crews, and others. My concern is, you know, should we be facing, should they be facing a strike? We will be, according to this report, faced with diminished road maintenance and delays in a variety of regional departments should the strike or lockout occur. Now, I guess what concerns me the most is the directive. According to this report here, there was a print of an email that was anonymously sent out to several York Region Media Group newsrooms that, quote, evidently from a senior staff member to an unknown party that casts a potentially interesting light on the process, quote, the document seems to suggest that the directive from York Region Council to staff is to avoid any work disruptions ahead of the 2014 election. So I guess my question to you, Mr. Mayor, or to the Regional Councilor is that, first of all, I want to know if those words reflect any directive that you have given to the region.
Okay. Well, first of all, I have not seen any language to that effect. Secondly, I don't think it's appropriate to give any credibility whatsoever to an anonymous email. I know that the region is committed to finding a workable resolution that's in the best interests of both the taxpayers and their staff, but a directive of that nature has not been initiated to my knowledge.
Okay. Well, I guess my next question then is that how much would capitulating to the union demands cost our taxpayers? I don't have any information on that. And I guess more importantly, if the strike does happen, we would like to know what contingencies would be made to ensure that the service levels are not disrupted.
First of all, I don't think it's appropriate to think that the region would capitulate.
I didn't say that. I was just saying if they did, how much it...
Well, I'm suggesting it's not appropriate to suggest that they would, firstly. Secondly, everybody is hopeful of finding a solution. Thirdly, I'm satisfied that the region has a very robust contingency plan in place, and it would be irresponsible not to do so. So they have been working on contingency plans.
So we do have a contingency plan, and where would I find that information on that?
I don't have that available right now, but and if it is available, I'm sure that it would be on their website, or we could arrange for you to have that.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, next item is council workshop notes of November the 12th. I will ask for our readers' patience because, thank you, because we're working with a new format in our agendas, and that's on page 30. And this is to be received. So I'd entertain a motion to be received. The workshop related to the Town's Environmental Advisory Committee. There was a discussion with the Town's Environmental Advisory Committee prior to a council meeting on November the 12th. Could I just have a motion to receive these notes? And that is corrected, as corrected. Councillor Twinney, seconded by? I wasn't in attendance. Okay. Oh, sorry. Okay, so we should correct that to show that Councillor Manuel was not there? Okay. Councillor Kerwin, you were there, Councillor Kerwin? I was. Okay, so you'd like to second that then? I will. Okay. And it's just a brief summary. All those in favor? Thank you. That's carried. Next item is the council workshop notes of November the 18th. That's on page 32. Again, this workshop was relative to our recreational master plan. No, that was relative to our public art plan and our policies. And it was a workshop that outlined the direction that staff was giving consideration to, and it brought members of council up to date in terms of their approach to how they were going to develop the plan.
I'll move that, Mr. Mayor.
Councillor Kerwin, seconded by Councillor Twinney. All those in favor? Thank you. That's received. Next item is the Committee of the Whole minutes of November the 18th. Are there any items that we wish to deal with separately? Yes, Special Committee of the Whole of the 18th. And that was a Special Committee of the Whole that related to discussions around capital financing sustainability. And I think that was the gist of it. Could I have a motion then to approve those minutes? Councillor DiMuccio.
Is that correct, Mr. Mayor?
No, November the 18th.
Okay, sorry. No.
Special Committee of the Whole, November the 18th. Councillor Sponga, Councillor Emanuel. All those in favor? That is carried. Thank you. Special Committee of the Whole closed session on November the 18th. Councillor Emanuel. Seconder, Regional Councillor. All those in favor? That is carried. So with respect to the discussions in that closed session, I would ask for a motion that the minutes of the special committee of the whole be approved, which we've done. And that's it for the 18th. Okay, and so there's some advice there, right? That's what happened on the 18th? Okay. So with respect to that, Ms. Ruth Victor and Associates, and Ms. Mary Bull of Wood Bull LLP addressed the committee with a verbal status update regarding items contained within two separate confidential memorandums dated November the 15th, 2013, and that was related to the Mariannaville Developments, the Glenway application, and the memorandums were received for information purposes. And then also on November the 16th, there was a joint CAO and Development Services and Infrastructure closed session report 2013-15 dated November the 11th that related to strategic property acquisitions, and that item was deferred to a future committee of the whole meeting. I think we already dealt with those, Joe, so this was just bringing forward the public record component. Thank you. Next item then is item number 7, committee of the whole minutes of the 25th of November. Any items to be dealt with separately? Councillor Sponga?
Item 18 and 19. That's the item dealing with the clock tower, the item dealing with the Queen Street stop sign, and the item dealing with the clock tower.
Okay.
And I just need a clarification really on 18, that's all I need.
Okay.
Discussion.
So we'll come to that then. Any other items? Councillor Mucho?
Thank you. I would like to pull out item number 17. That has to do with the Foxtail study.
And number 17?
Yep, and under new business, item number 25. And that has to do with the garbage pickup.
Also, Mr. Mayor, sorry.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Sponga?
Sorry, I forgot. Also, I'd like to, I don't know if you just need me to do it, it's just housekeeping, but I'd like to rescind my notice of motion
Okay.
from the same
Notice
minutes.
of motion.
I don't know if you need to discuss that or what.
I don't think so. We haven't required that in the past. Okay. Okay, any other items? Could I then have a motion to approve, to receive the committee of the whole minutes of November 25th and approve all items with the exceptions of items number 17, 18, 19, and 25. Is that right, Mr. Clerk?
Yes. And
Okay.
items 27 to 55.
And items 27 to 55. Items 27 and 55 relate to a public meeting that we had in the Newmarket Theatre, and that related to the Glenville, the Mariannaville developments and the Glenway properties. And those items were ratified in a special council meeting following that committee of the whole meeting. Okay? So, all those in favor of the recommendations with the exceptions of 17, 18, 19, and 25? 25, let me just check that. Oh, yes, 25B. That's right. Thank you for that correction. All those in favor? Any opposed? That is carried. Thank you. Let's start with item number 17 then. Councilor Mucho.
The motion, I just wanted to explain
Okay.
that.
Let's get a seconder then.
Oh,
before-
sorry.
Okay, Councilor Emmanuel seconded that.
Okay, thank you. We just wanted to once again let the public know that Foxtail Ridge, we have quite a few residents that it's been an ongoing issue for many years. It is a a difficult road to navigate. It's very narrow, so there's some challenges there. And I just wanted to, once again, let the residents know, thank you, first of all, for your input as to whether we should be making some changes on the parking. And thanks to council for approving that we will be undertaking a new parking review on that street. We did get some good and some bad in terms of how the parking is right now, the reviews from the residents. So I just wanted to assure you that we will be undertaking this review, and we'll be doing that in the spring of next year, which I think makes a lot of sense, because we'll get more feedback from that time, as there is a trail there, so people will be visiting the trail. So just wanted to let you know, and we will be I look forward to that report.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Emanuel is the seconder. Okay, any further discussion? All those in favor? That is carried, thank you. Item number 18, Councillor Sponga.
This motion was corrected under
The addendum?
the addendum review, and I just needed a clarification. Are we moving 18?
Oh, yeah. Motion, please, Councillor.
Okay, I would like to move 18. I presume it's 18A and I and Roman 4 or IV. That's what I was trying to seek clarification from the clerk. I understand that 2 I's and 3 I's have been removed. I just wonder if we could get some clarification on what has been taken out and what has been.
Mr. Clerk?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, the councillor is correct. As was circulated in the addendum, the intent was to remove inadvertently we had included the proposed clauses 2 and 3, but it should, as if councillor is referring to page 48, the motion was intended to show 18I and 18A subsection I and 4.
IV, yeah. Okay, so those are the 2 items that were adopted, or that are
And-
being
and,
recommended.
Okay, sorry, through you, Mr. Mayor, are the items above, I'm referring to the agenda for those in the viewing audience on page 48, which is 10 of 21. Are the items above moved by Councillor Sponga and seconded by Regional Councillor Taylor, are those items included in the motion that we're moving as well?
No, if I understand correctly, and I could be corrected by the clerk, but the items that are being moved follow the moved and seconded indicators. So anything following that was what was moved. This is more or less some of the items that were discussed. I think you'll sometimes see where there were amendments were made prior to the motion, and then is that correct, Mr. Clerk?
Yes, that's right.
That was the intent
Through you,
anyway.
Mr. Mayor, I'm afraid not. I believe that the last "and that" was actually passed.
I think that's item number IV, Joe. And that a further report be brought back.
Oh, is it? Okay, all
Yeah.
right, all
Okay,
right.
so it's
thank you.
duplicated, it's captured.
Sorry about
Yeah,
that.
that's
It's
okay.
just a bit confusing.
Nope.
So I will move as the recommendations as corrected by our
The amendment? Okay. Okay, seconded by Regional Councillor. Comments, Councillor Sponga?
No, thank you.
Comments, Regional Councillor is the seconder?
No comment.
All those in favor? Opposed? That's carried. Okay, item number 19. Item number 19 is with respect to the Main Street Clock Tower. Councillor Sponga, motion, please.
I would like to move the recommendations and amend them by removing the number, I believe is, again, bear with me, Mr. Mayor, I believe is V11.
Roman numeral 1?
Numeral 7.
Or, yeah, Roman numeral 7?
Yeah,
Okay.
and I'd like to briefly speak to that.
Okay, if we get a seconder, we'll do that.
Oh, sorry.
Regional Councillor. Okay.
It's my understanding that at this point, the Forest Group has appealed the Heritage Conservation District bylaw. And and the appeal was launched to the Ontario Municipal Board, I believe, last Friday. It is my intention, then, Mr. Mayor, to remove that item to give staff an opportunity to assess how this latest development affects the application and provide council with some advice.
Okay,
Just
thank
simply
you.
on that basis.
All right, Regional Councillor as a seconder.
Thanks very much. Just for those viewing, this is the report on the clock tower development proposed on Main Street. It is essentially this is part of the planning process. After something is submitted and staff have deemed it complete, this is now moving it to a public meeting, a statutory public meeting where anyone and everyone can provide their input. And after that, the staff will bring back a comprehensive report for committee of the whole to decide upon at that time if they choose, and that will include the public feedback. And as Councillor Sponga pointed out, the Heritage District is being appealed to the OMB, or that's what I believe we've understood. And so that will somewhat complicate things, but that's all part of the process, and this is just a step in the process, and want to make sure everybody understood. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Demuccio.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just wanted to say that, this is what I would consider quite an aggressive development, and I've certainly had a lot of feedback. That we're talking about 6 stories, in a very contained space, and I have certainly received a lot of feedback from the community business people on Main Street, and I wanted to ensure residents that just, this is the process that we're following as council. We haven't made any decisions yet. There's a lot to be discussed, pros and cons, and I'd like to believe that we will be making some well thought out decisions when this comes to our council. So this is just part of the process, and I certainly encourage residents to get involved in it as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Sponga.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Further clarification as to why I'm raising this issue and why I'm amending it. I had asked for an amendment at the Committee of the Whole that not just we refer this item to a public meeting, but there be an opportunity for a representative of Heritage Newmarket, the Business Improvement Association of the Lower Main Street South, and 2 or 3 neighbors and property owner stakeholders, and as well as, of course, yourself and Regional Councillor, Mr. Mayor, to perhaps have a discussion to try to address some of the concerns that were raised by the public at the last public meeting sponsored by the developer on this project. However, given the, and that amendment passed, but given the circumstances and the events and the fact that the bylaw is now being appealed, and as Councillor Taylor said, it's just part of the process, that's why I'm asking that clause and that request to meet with them be removed until we can get further clarification from our staff of what this means.
Okay, thank you. Any further comments? All those in favor of the recommendations as amended? Any opposed? That is carried. Thank you. Item number 25, Councillor Demuccio.
I wanted to move it, but I just wanted to let residents know that, recently we have had quite a few.
So we should.
Sorry, should I?
Yeah, we should move that.
Seconder.
Yeah,
You
move
need
it.
a seconder?
Yeah, I need a seconder.
Do I need to move it, or?
Yeah, no, it
it's
wasn't a
just new
motion. Okay.
business? I
Yeah,
just
we
wa-
can speak to the.
Yeah, I
Okay.
just wanted to speak to it. I
Right.
wanted to, this has to do with, I had asked staff for an update with respect to waste and recycling. And I think that a lot of you will understand that recently we've had some issues with pickup on various streets in different wards, and including my own ward. And it's almost every week that I get an email. And I just wanted to correct the record, Mr. Mayor, because there was an email sent out from staff this week that that councilors are told beforehand, and that's not always the case. I am actually told twice on 2 different occasions in the past couple of months. I was actually told by the residents, and I had to ask staff, usually in the evening, and then they had to go and ask, get an update from the contractor, who then said, well, we're either running late or it'll be picked up the next day. So, I certainly encourage residents to always contact me and Through you, Mr. Mayor, do you think that we can get an update on when we will
I was
get
going to
that
ask Mr.
status?
Prentice that.
Yeah.
And also,
We'll
if
get
you
that.
could, is there a number that the residents can call as well? There's a customer service number provided by the service provider? Or if you have that available. If not, we can put it on the website.
The residents can always call into our customer service center during the regular hours, and after that, it would go to the night service, which can be referred to the contractor. I would have to confirm that our night telephone service does patch those through to the our contractor, but we can also ensure we'll post on the web. There is a number that you can call GFL directly to get information on the pickup, and we'll make sure that that's posted. I don't have it with me at the moment. And I'm sorry I didn't get the first question.
Just an update in terms of how the discussions are going with GFL?
Yeah, we could provide to that. I don't think we have a regular meeting on the 9th, but at our next regular committee of the whole meeting, we can do that.
Okay, so, and that's great. So, in the meantime then, just to reiterate, so if there is an issue, certainly residents are encouraged to contact me, but you are going to have something on the website, you said, for residents?
We will ensure that the after-hours number for to check on the status of their garbage collection is on our website. We can do that in the morning.
Okay.
We will also, in the upcoming weeks, be going into the Christmas period when all of the garbage schedules change because of the statutory holidays during the week. And we'll be putting notices also in the paper to advise how the schedule changes. And that is always a challenge, too, to put out enough effort to make sure people understand how their dates have changed over the Christmas and New Year's weeks. But we'll be doing that also.
One additional question, and that is, does the My Apps, one of the apps that, is it the region that's produced that, or have we produced that? That My Waste app. Yeah. Does that give information on our waste pickups?
Yes, it does, Mr. Mayor. It wouldn't give up-to-date daily. It would tell you when your date is, but I don't believe that it would give you up-to-date if it's being delayed. Sometimes we will find out it's being delayed very late in the day or even after hours because they are frequently still collecting after hours at this time of year, so we may not know about it as it's happening at 5 or 5:30.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Kerwin?
Yes, through you, Mr. Mayor, to our commissioner. The town puts out an excellent calendar on pickup days. When is that calendar coming? The new calendar for 2014 coming out, Mr. Prentice?
Mr. Prentice?
I'm not updated on that. However, the current calendar, I believe, does cover over the Christmas period, so it should normally come out prior to the January.
No.
I haven't seen the calendar, the schedule yet for this year, but it should be delivered to every home by the end of the year, which will outline all the yard waste, recycling, and garbage and source-separated organic pickup dates.
No. The December calendar for 2013 is really quite clear. Basically, throughout the town, every date is moved across. It's one day later. If your pickup was Wednesday, it'll be Thursday. If it's Thursday, it's Friday. Friday, Saturday. That will come out. But for residents to follow that calendar is really quite important. And I'd like to compliment the town and Green for Life in extending the yard waste pickup. Just so all residents know, Green for Life will be picking up yard waste right up until December the 6th, which is this Friday. So any bags that are out there or have been put out there prematurely, the last pickup date will be Friday throughout at least in Ward 2. So if you still have yard waste, just to reinforce and put it out, and we're still going to pick it up. Okay? Thanks, Rob.
Okay. All right, I think there's still one item remaining, and that's item number 22C, and that's with respect to a declaration. So we need to deal with item 22C. Can I have a motion with respect to those recommendations, please? That's the Newmarket Hydro appointments for directors. Councillor Kerwin. It's on page 42. Councillor Vague. All those in favor? Opposed? That's carried. Thank you. I think that deals with all of the items on our Committee of the Whole. And we now are moving on to the Committee of the Whole closed session of November the 25th. Could I have a motion, please, that the minutes of the Committee of the Whole closed session November 25th be approved? Councillor Sponga, Councillor Emanuel. All those in favor? That is carried. Okay, coming out of that, we have item number 1, which is the Newmarket Tay Power Distribution Confidential Report of the President with respect to the Director's search. It was confidential because of it related to matters of an identifiable individual. And could I have a motion, please, that Council endorse the recommendation of the Newmarket Tay Power Distribution Limited Confidential Report of the President dated November 1st, 13th regarding the Director's search, and that Christine Pradas be appointed to fill the Director vacancy commencing December 2014 for a 3-year period. Can I have a motion to that effect, please? Councillor Twinney, Councillor Kerwin. Anyone wish to speak to that? Yes, first, Councillor Twinney, then, as the mover. Okay, Councillor Kerwin.
We were really quite fortunate. Our former mayor, Tom Taylor, has served on Newmarket Tay Hydro for many years, and he gave us the notification that he will retire at the end of 2014 from Newmarket Tay Hydro Board of Directors. And that enabled an ad hoc committee, which was duly appointed by this council. The process was, and we were able to select Christine Pradas as a replacement. But to bring her up to speed, she will be monitoring for the next year, for 2014, before she actually sits on the board of directors, the meetings of Hydro. So once we start 2015, this lady will be well informed with regard to Newmarket Tay Hydro. This is the first time we've done that, and we were able to do it because we got notification a year in advance. And I really would like to thank Tom Taylor for doing that, because it really makes Newmarket Tay an efficient and really productive organization, Mr. Mayor. So Christine Pradas, I welcome her.
Thank you. All those in favor? Any opposed? That is carried. Thank you. The second item within the closed session of November 25th was Mariannaville Developments, again Glenway, and that was litigation, including matters before administrative tribunals, and specifically the OMB. The Director of Legal Services and Municipal Solicitor provided legal advice with respect to the town's position regarding the Mariannaville developments on the Glenway application. I would ask for a motion now that the direction provided to staff at the November 25th, 2013 Committee of the Whole closed session meeting regarding Mariannaville Developments Glenway application be approved. Can I have that motion, please? Councillor Emanuel, Councillor Sponga. All those in favor? That is carried. Thank you. Next item is our Corporate Services Report, Financial Services 2013-49, dated October 30th, and that is with respect to our 2014 operating and capital budgets. The highlights of the budget are the total expenditures being recommended are $106,327 and $327.09. That be approved. Of that, $56,000 roughly, which includes an additional $208,000 in asset replacement funding. Sorry, did I say thousands again? Yes, you did. I have this problem with decimals, eh? Let me start again. $106,327,009. Okay? And then of that, $56,975,206 is the town's portion, and that includes an additional $208 for asset replacement funding. What did I say? That's what I said. Okay. No, that was 1,000. No. Okay. 30,000, the Newmarket Downtown Business Development Area, BIA levy. and $3,668,618 for the library, $14,560,013 for Central York Fire Services, and that includes an additional $150,025 for the asset replacement funding, and $31,930,172 for our water and wastewater groups, and that the proposed capital budget includes expenditures of $23,730,863, and that be approved. Could I have, and that the proposed 2014 capital operating budgets, that's no longer applicable, that's here. Could I have motions with respect to those recommendations, please? Regional Councillor, is a seconder? Councillor Sponga. Any comments? Regional Councillor, as a mover?
Thank you very much. Well, this is the culmination of the budget process that we've been engaged in for some time, and my thanks to staff for the work they did on this, and particularly an incredibly strong communications outreach plan to the community to engage as many people as possible in this process. Throughout the process, we took various steps in keeping with a motion from 3 years ago. We had a target of less than 2% for the all-in tax rate, the tax rate that applies to your home at the end of the day when it's blended with the town, the school board, and the region. We subsequently set a target of less than 2.75% for the town portion, or less than 2% for the town portion, and 0.75% for asset replacement, totaling 2.75. That took quite a bit of work on the part of council and staff, and keeping in mind all the feedback that we'd gotten throughout from the community about trying to maintain service levels while bringing in a responsible budget. We took several stabs at it, and it was reduced on at least two or three different occasions substantially, bringing us down to our current level that we're at now, which represents a tax increase of 2.72%. And that's an all-in increase of 1.73%. So in both cases, we were able to hit the target that we set. This is the third year setting targets. The first year, we set a target of less than 2% all-in, which we met. After that, partially as a result of Councillor Kerwin's encouragement, we set a town target as well. And last year, we struggled with that, and we were unable to meet it. But this year, both the regional and the town targets have been met, and I think that this is helping us trend a little lower in terms of our tax increases. But at the same time, I think it's important that we, that we try to bring in a number that reflects cost of living, that reflects the economy, and reflects the ability to pay by the taxpayer, but at the same time doesn't starve the system. That makes sure that we're still building a community where we can invest in, and we can bring forward amenities like the Riverwalk Commons, and invest in a way that helps us to be recognized as a top 10 community in all of Canada in which to live. So I can say without hesitation that I'm very pleased with this budget. I know there's always more that people would like to see, and I don't blame them. We would all pay taxes. We would all like to pay less. But we also have to realize that this is an investment in our community. We've got a thriving community. I think a lot of people have probably seen their property values increase considerably over the last number of years. And the recognition that we're receiving for some of our achievements in terms of our digital presence and our top 10 comes from that investment. So I think we're balancing this between trying to keep tax rates, tax increases relatively low, in line with cost of living, yet investing in our community. I think it's an excellent balance. My thanks to staff and everyone on council, in particular to our treasurer, Mr. Mays, and also thanks to the community who gave us a ton of input, and who, after all, at the end of the day, pays for this budget. And hopefully it's a budget they are supportive of, and supports the investments that we're making in our community through this budget. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Sponga is the seconder.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm not going to repeat a lot of the things that regional councillor said. Very good points. I do want to reiterate my congratulations to our treasurer, Mike Mays, who made the process very easy for us in council, members of council, relatively easy within the confines of those targets. All staff and of course all members of council colleagues, and of course our communications department, who really came through with an incredible program for public consultation. I'm not a big fan of targets set by council, but I think that there's two targets. One was the target that was set by council, the other is the target that is set by the community and that was loud and clear through our community consultation. And that was that we're providing a great level of service, and they wanted to see that level of service continue. And a very good level of satisfaction in our community. And so I believe that that is a target that this council had to consider as well. And that's where I really commend staff for being able to strike that balance between the target that the community has set in terms of the service delivery and the quality of service that they want to continue to receive, but as well the concerns that Councillor Kerwin and other members of council have expressed in terms of the increase in taxes and so forth. And I think that the budget that was proposed right from the beginning made it somewhat easy and sympathetic for this council to be able, again, to hit targets that are well below the cost of living. As a regional councillor said, I think we make some incredible investments in this community, and they're great investments. There's always room for improvement, and I think that it's a great budget again, and I'm very proud of it. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Councillor Demucho?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I think that here we are in our last budget of this term, and I think that regional councillor said that any, that budgets are investment. I completely agree. I think that any spending is an investment for the municipality. I think, however, that the philosophy of that spending is really what counts. And there are many things in this budget that I have seen that I have not supported and that I continue not to support, and this has been ongoing for 4 years as far as I've been on council. One of the things that we have in front of us was public feedback, and that is a very important process of budgets. And I have not heard one single person in Newmarket come to me and say they want a tax increase. And that does not mean that they wanted a 2% tax increase either. They wanted a 0% tax increase. And I will say that, for the record, that I have certainly studied budgets for the past 3 years, line by line items, and have really dug into it, the meat of it. And I really believe that I had come up with some very good ideas, certainly operational budgets. I think there's a lot of room. Councillor Sponga alluded there's always room, and I believe that whether we have the will of this council to dig in and look at that. I didn't see that this term, and that's very unfortunate. I can only speak for myself, but we did not have those discussions in council. My ideas were not even discussed. So there are many things in this budget that that worry me. For example, we have over $7 million worth of projects, capital projects that are deferred in the next few years, and I can almost promise you that unless we see fundamental changes in the philosophy of our budgets, that we will continue to see tax increases. That I know for certain. I also am not comfortable. One of the things that stood out, because we had to reach a 2%, we couldn't go over 2% as per Regional Council Taylor motion, was that we didn't put any money in this budget for OMERS pensions, and that's very worrisome. Now, to be fair, the Treasurer Mike May said not to worry about that, but I do worry about that. I think that just because the Municipal Act doesn't force us to put money aside for OMERS doesn't mean that we shouldn't, just so that we can reach a target. So the word responsibility is a key thing here, and I'm not comfortable with one of many things, but certainly not putting money aside for OMERS in this budget is something that I certainly don't support. So that's all I have to say. I will be saying more about this budget, not tonight, but I will be. And just through Mr. Mayor, I know as is our tradition, we always ask for have a recorded vote on the budget.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Councillor Kerwin.
Yes, Mr. Mayor. To the residents, when you're looking at budgets, in operational, municipalities cannot run a deficit. If we see that our projections are not on target, then in the past you're brought in as a councillor and you find cuts or you find ways to increase revenue. So you cannot run an operational deficit. And I'm happy to say, in talking to Mike Mays just shortly before this meeting, that we're in a very fortunate position in 2013 that we're going to come in with about a $500,000 surplus. That's quite commendable when other municipalities have not been able to do that, but we've been able to do that in the town of Newmarket. I sat down with Mike Mays in his office for many hours, and when you're looking at a budget to the taxpayer out there, there is very little what I call wiggle room. There's probably about 8% of the budget that you can really adjust, and that is because of the nature of the beast. We have an excellent Central York Fire Services, a joint fire department of Aurora and Newmarket. And you're under contract law, you're under arbitration law. And we've been in mediation for a long time, and we have a meeting tomorrow of the JCC. That's the Joint Committee of Council, 3 members of Newmarket, 3 members of Aurora. And we go through the budget, and tomorrow we're going to be receiving a report from our Human Development Department. But with that budget, there's very little you can do with it. You have so many firefighters, and the salary negotiations are basically set by precedent. Whatever happens in Vaughan or Toronto or Markham normally happens within Newmarket. And when you go to arbitration, you basically end up paying what Markham pays or Vaughan pays or Richmond Hill pays or the City of Toronto. So that's about almost 30% of the budget. And then you go through your salaries and your contributions for OMERS or for your benefits. And there's very little you can do about that. We can see what's happening at the region that Councillor Demucha has spoken about. When you try to take something back that you've given for years, then you have workers who are not particularly happy, and you have strike. So I've gone through it very thoroughly with Mike. Mike showed me what we can do and what we can't do. And we did not really, in this budget, really include any enhancements. We continue the level of service, and we've just asked our employees to work harder, which they've done, and they've picked up the pace. So I'd like to thank my colleagues. Basically, I had a target last year of 2% or less, and I'm happy when I look at this, an all-in budget of 1.73%, which includes your education, your region, your town, which includes, your firefighters, your police, your EMS, essential services that none of us want cut. I haven't heard that. Yes, there is a tax increase. It's going to cost me about $70 per year, which is about $1.50 per week. I can accept this budget because of the amount of dedication and just plain hard work that's gone into do this budget, and I hope at the end of it we have another surplus. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Bay.
Thank you. Councillor Kerwin made some very important points, and it's something very important for the public to understand. Most of what a municipality does is actually mandated by the province. So we are required by law, by legislation, to deliver certain services, etc. And you mentioned fire, but we can talk about water, we can talk about roads, etc. And all of these have a cost to them. And we are affected by arbitration, but we're also affected by the same things that you at home are affected by. When the hydro cost goes up, the cost in this building goes up, the cost in our facilities go up, and we have to cover those costs. I believe, Councillor Kerwin, you mentioned to me before, the cost of asphalt has gone up 40% in the last 5 years. A huge number, but we still have to pay the roads, and we still have to pay for that. So I just want to let the public know that the costs that affect you at home also affect us here, and that needs to be reflected and be paid for. I do want to give compliments to the staff and my colleagues on council and members of the public. We did over 5 months of a consultation, and not just asking people to come into budget workshops or budget presentations. We were out there in the community. We were all over. We were using our social media. We were using our website to try to get input from the public. And one of the things we heard loud and clear was that the public told us they wanted to maintain service. I went out to Riverwalk Commons one day and wore my Newmarket T-shirt and was doing a survey with the public. People coming out there, speaking to them, asking them a series of questions, and they came through really loud and clear what they wanted to do was to maintain services. After I asked people the questions on my survey and speaking to them, I asked every single person one question that wasn't included. And I said, are you receiving value for your tax dollar? And everybody said yes. And they spoke about Riverwalk Commons. They spoke about our Main Street. They spoke about their community parks. They spoke about our recreational facilities. They spoke about summer programs for their kids. Everybody focused in on something that they and their family thought, this is terrific, and I'm so glad to live in Newmarket because we have this here. And when you look at it that way and you look at, are you getting value for your tax dollars, and if you answer the question yes, that's also very, very important. It's also, quite frankly, one of the reasons that Newmarket was chosen as one of the top 10 places in Canada to live, work, and raise a family. The final comment I'd like to make is we all speak a lot about percentages, et cetera, and Councillor Kerwin did mention some dollar amounts. For the town portion of the budget, though, just the town portion of the budget, to live here in Newmarket, I believe this tax increase, which is 1.72%, so approximately the cost of living, I think is actually a couple of points under it. For the town portion, I think it works out to about 11 cents a day. So when you're looking at the rounding up and down at the stores as they're doing now, it's really a very small amount of money to be able to live in one of the top communities in all of Canada.
Thank you. My own observations are that council and staff should take pride in what we've been able to accomplish in the 2014 budget, because I think it strikes an important balance between maintaining the level of service that our community has come to expect and managing the cost of doing so. But equally important is the progress that we've made in connecting with our residents to understand their priorities and their concerns. We developed an online budget survey, promoted it at the farmers market, at the GO station, the library, kiosks, and newspaper ads. We called out to 15,000 residents, and many councillors had budget discussions at their ward meetings as well. And during that time, the town received over 1,200 visits to its website and received over 300 paper surveys. And it was good to see that there was a number of different perspectives, but by far the most positive feedback was asking us to ensure that the services and the programs continue to be maintained at the same level with some enhancements that were requested. Now, many people are concerned about planning for the future, and they want us to make sure that we are able to replace our roads, our bridges, our pipes, our equipment, and our buildings when we need to. And in part, we've made a significant step forward in doing so. We did this by increasing our contributions to the Asset Replacement Fund by $358,000 again this year, and this is in addition to a special tax levy of $364,000 earlier this year, and that now brings our total annual asset replacement contributions to $13,920,000. And finally, although our report shows an all-in tax increase of 1.73, that was based on a regional tax increase of 1.75%. And as I'd mentioned earlier, the region has revised their projected tax increase to 1.54, and that would further reduce our all-in tax rate to 1.68. So if you bear in mind 1.68, and out of that, 0.74 is for our asset replacement fund, it means that our operating costs increased by 0.94%, and in my mind, that stands up very well in relation to a consumer price index increase of 1.10. So, like all other residents, I don't like to see tax increases, but we need to manage our financial affairs responsibly. It's important to all of us that we receive good value for our tax dollars. And when I look at what we've been able to accomplish over the past few years and where Newmarket stands in relation to other municipalities, I believe that Council has done a good job in managing our municipality effectively. Regional Councillor.
Thank you very much. I just want to clarify, member staff or the treasurer, a statement was made earlier that no money was put in this budget for OMERS, and OMERS is the pension contributions. Can the staff just clarify that for me, please?
Mr. Shelton?
Mr. Mayor, perhaps the Director of Finance could join the meeting and address that question.
Sure. Mr. Mays.
Mr. Mays.
Thank you. Thank you for your kind words, too. There is money in the budget for OMERS as we put aside money every year. OMERS contributions could be anywhere from 8% to 11% of wages, depending upon the level of wages. I'm sorry, I don't know the number off the top of my head, but I believe it's somewhere in the neighborhood of $1.5 million is what we put in the 2014 OMERS budget.
Thank you very much. I just think it's important when we have a viewing audience in the media that we have that accurate information about the OMERS contribution of a roughly $1.5 million as opposed to nothing. The other point I'd just like to make is that the other statement that was made by Councillor DiMuccio was that my ideas, and I'm quoting directly, my ideas were not even discussed. And the fact is we've got a report in front of us that says that staff brought back a report to Council on examining the savings of removing the ice pads at the Magna Centre in June to August of 2014. That was at the request of Councillor DiMuccio. Council supported looking at that. And what we discovered was that due to the lost revenue exceeding any kinds of savings with the building, that there would have been a loss of $88,000, and so we did not move forward on it. But it was certainly discussed. We got a report, we got the information, and I believe we made a good decision. So I just want to clarify, because that's different than not discussing it. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Councillor Kerwin?
Yes, Mr. Mayor. On my way in to council meeting tonight, I listened to a report that was on the radio about increases to hydro in the next 3 years, and they're going to be substantial. It's not about this budget, but it's futuristic thinking as well. Several years ago, we had Honeywell do a retrofit on all our facilities, and at the end of it, we saved hundreds of thousands of dollars in energy bills. Well, this year, once again, we brought Honeywell in, and they're doing street lighting. But over the next few years, when you see your street lights changing to a really, really attractive decorative light throughout all of town over the next 3 years, again, in energy, and you know it's going up 30%, this council has been futuristic in its thinking about bringing an efficiency corporation, which is excellent in finding efficiencies, into this town. And I believe, Mike, our treasurer, over the years we will save another $1.4 million because we think of the future and we think of ways of delivering a service for less cost. What, Mike, in the end of those years, will our savings be because we are changing our light standards on our streets? Do you know, Mike?
Mr. Mays?
Councillor, you're always catching me off guard there. If I recall correctly, we're investing $8.6 million. We're projecting the total savings are going to be somewhere in the neighborhood of about $15 million. So to repay that debt, to pay ourselves some interest, contribute additional interest to our reserves, and some additional savings on our energy as well. If I can have your indulgence, Mr. Mayor, I wanted to correct a number. I just verified the OMERS contributions as mandated, as required by legislation and by our agreements with OMERS. The budget for 2014 is about $3.9 million.
$3.9 million?
Yeah. I shouldn't give numbers off the top of my head.
Right. That's
Your mayor does.
Which I think I just did about Honeywell. But anyway.
So, Mike, we've gone from nothing to $3.9 million that we contributed to OMERS. But with Honeywell, then, over the years, Mike, we're going to really save considerable sums of money. You don't have the exact figures, but I just like to say to the residents out there that this council and our staff, and I commend our staff, are always coming up with recommendations of how to save money or obtain contributions from major corporations within the town. And I'd like to compliment our CIO. He is ingenious at getting volunteer contributions from builders and developers to our funds for culture and art and trail systems. Robert Sheldon, you really are quite ingenious how you sweat dollars out of people for the benefit of the community. So I have to really give you that compliment.
Thank you. Councillor DiMuccio.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yeah, I'd like to address some of the things that Regional Councillor Taylor just said. 2 points. First of all, Do you recall how many ideas I put forward, Regional Councillor Taylor, that we discussed?
Not precise numbers.
Oh, okay. Well, let me remind you, I put over 15 motions on the table that you all reject, that most of you rejected. So to say that you had supported one or discussed one item is hardly saying that you support any of my philosophies in tax cutting. So I wanted to correct that record. Number two, Mr. Mays, through you, Mr. Mayor, how much do we normally put through? How much do we normally put aside in the budget for OMERS? Because we did have a discussion about OMERS, and I'm sorry if I incorrectly stated that we didn't put any money. But my recollection was that in the OMERS pension that we didn't put aside money that we normally would put, the certain amount of money that we would normally put. Is that correct? So the first question is, how much do we normally put away
Mr. Mays?
a year?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, actually, I don't recall there being, during the budget process, any discussion on OMERS. I believe what the councillor is referring to, we talked about post-retirement benefits, which is another issue.
So could you please outline that, because I must have gotten confused with that and OMERS. If you can outline what we normally do every budget and what we did this time with in respect to that post-retirement. Can you explain that?
Sorry, through you, Mr. Mayor, for clarification, with respect to post-retirement benefits?
Yes.
On the post-retirement benefits, we make an estimate. There is no legislative requirement. In fact, the legislation is such that you do not have to provide for post-retirement benefits at all. That's one of the exceptions to the balanced budget provisions of the Municipal Act. We, however, have been putting aside anywhere in the neighborhood of approximately $200,000 a year for post-retirement benefits, and we've built up a substantial contribution for that, which I believe represents about 20. It's in the report somewhere, but sorry, I've reported on this, but it's somewhere in the neighborhood of about 20% of our overall liability for that, for a liability we don't have to provide for at all. My recommendation was that we could reduce our contribution in 2014, and that there would be no risk in it. The other thing is we have put into place some measures to mitigate that risk. We've gone to a different basis using healthcare spending accounts for post-retirement benefits, which is not being fully reflected yet in our actuarial evaluations of our post-retirement benefits. As well, the interest rates are at a historical low right now, so any projections on interest earned are going to be extremely low. As the interest rates start to increase, that will again see mitigation of any risk that there would be there. So my proposal was based on the fact we have a provision that is not required. We've been very prudent, very conservative of what we put forth, and that there is no risk because of certain economic factors.
Okay, so, and I'm not finished, Mr. Mayor, just to, so I'm sorry, so what I meant was not the OMERS, I did mean the post-retirement benefits. I got confused with some of the wording there. So you're saying then, what you said that you reduced the contribution. How much did you reduce the contribution to? So we pay normally $200,000 a year, and we reduced it in order to get to that 2%, criteria. And I'm asking you, how much did we reduce it?
I have to look up that number. I don't have it right here at my fingertips.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Councillor Kerwin?
Yes. You know, once again, Mr. Mayor, and I'd like to mention the late Ray Twinney. He had visions for the town of Newmarket when he was the mayor, and he was a very, very popular mayor. And Raymond has saved us millions of dollars, because I want the residents out there to know that when the employees of the town of Newmarket leave the town of Newmarket, they don't leave the town of Newmarket with a package for accumulated sick days. 20 years ago, or 25 years ago, Raymond had the vision to buy out those sick days when our town was small and when our fire services, and I was the chair of the Newmarket Fire Service at that time, and we bought out our firefighters. we bought out their sick days then, 25 years ago. So when our employees retire from the town of Newmarket, there are no sick days accumulated. They are not bought out. They retire just with that, with their OMERS pension. And we are in a blessed position because when you look at school boards across Ontario that have to pay out a retirement gratuity, and cities like Markham and Vaughan that still have to pay out those sick days, they have millions and millions of dollars in debt really on their books, which really don't show, but they have to fund that when their employees retire. But Newmarket, because of Ray 20 years ago, had that vision that he could see that this was going to escalate and cost the town of Newmarket millions in the future. We don't have those costs. And the other thing that I have to mention, we talked about Newmarket Tay Hydro. This council had the vision to retain its utility, Newmarket Tay Hydro. Had we sold it 10 years ago when everyone was selling off their hydro, their public utility, we may have got $25 million. Today, it's worth anywhere between $75 million and $125 million. Because of prudent fiscal planning, we've tripled or quadrupled the value of our utility, but it generates a healthy revenue for the town of Newmarket. But not only that, when there's a snowstorm, our department is located on Stevens Court, and our men who work for Hydro are on the scene within a very short period of time, where in East Gwillimbury or other municipalities, they have to send for trucks from Peterborough or call on Newmarket for help. We don't have to do that. So the service that we're giving through Newmarket Tay Hydro is absolutely exemplary. And the management, because of the directors who sit there, we've got the best directors, we've got the best board that you can find in the province of Ontario, which manages a $100 million asset.
Thank you. Thank you. Mr. Mays, just to clarify, we do have a reserve for post-retirement benefits, do we not? Do you know approximately what that amount is?
We have over $1 million. It's actually not a reserve. It's a liability account set up for it, but we have $1 million. I would just confirm here with the CEO, who has a little better memory than I, and we believe the reduction was somewhere in the $30,000 to $50,000 range. I don't have the information here with me tonight, but I can confirm that tomorrow.
Okay, thank you. Okay, I'll call the question then. All those in favor. Mr. Clerk? Yeah, it's a recorded vote. It's been our practice to do so.
Mr. Mayor, Councillor DiMuccio? Councillor Emanuel? Councillor Vey? Councillor Kerwin?
In favor.
Councillor Twinney? In favor. Regional Councillor Taylor?
In favor.
Councillor Hempin?
In favor.
Sorry. Councillor Sponga? Mr. Mayor?
In favor.
Motion carries.
I appreciate council not asking me to recite those numbers once again. Okay, next item is bylaws. Bylaw number 2013-64, and that's a housekeeping bylaw to amend to regulate highway traffic. Could I have a motion with respect to the bylaw, please? Councillor Sponga, seconded by Councillor Kerwin. Any discussion? All those in favor? That is carried. Thank you. Are there any notices of motion? Community announcements. Let's start with Councillor Emanuel.
Just briefly, Mr. Mayor, just a reminder that we need some volunteers for this year's Tim Hortons First Night event that runs from 2 till 9:30 on December 31st. That takes place at the Magna Centre. If anyone's willing to help out for the evening or a portion of the evening, they can visit newmarket.ca and register to volunteer. Thank you.
Councillor DiMuccio.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Seniors 55 and over are invited to attend the following upcoming events at the Town of Newmarket Seniors Meeting Place, located at 474 Davis Drive. Happy Valley Old Time Square and Couples Dance on December 6th from 8 to 11 p.m. Admission is $6. And the annual seniors turkey luncheon with all the trimmings on December 10th from noon to 3 p.m. Tickets are only $15 per person. I believe, Mr. Mayor, Council serves that luncheon, do they not?
That's the,
At
referred to as the turkey
seniors?
tear?
Yes,
Yep.
yes. So
Yes,
our
that's right.
your council will be serving you, and hope to see you there. If there's any questions, please call 905-953-5325 for more information. Thank you.
Councillor Sponga.
No, I just had a question.
Oh,
To
okay.
Councillor Demuccio, we're looking at seniors 55. Is there anything special for seniors who are 75 years and older? I'm tired of associating with all those young people, Councillor.
You get a double helping.
I get a double helping. Thank you.
Councillor Sponga.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm going to start with an announcement for the residents of Lloyd, Robinson, Curry, Andrew Street, Catherine, and Edward, and Victoria, I guess, as well, in Ward 5. It's been a long fall, and I know there's it hasn't been pretty for the construction crews, and I know you're dealing with a big muddy mess on your streets. But I can guarantee you that I should say that we've had some, as I mentioned in our ward meetings over the last few months, that we had unfortunately some voids in our staff, and especially in our engineering department, we have some serious challenges, and I am confident that now those positions have been fulfilled. There were several engineers that were missing, a director of engineers. We replaced a capital project manager, new director of public works. So you can see how these are very, very strategic and very important positions in carrying forward our capital projects. So I completely understand the frustration in seeing these works taking the time that they're taking. However, there's light at the end of the tunnel. I'm very, first of all, I should say that I'm very confident that our new staff is going to bring a breath of fresh air and a new approach on how these capital projects will be carried out. I hope you bear with us. You can see those improvements starting with next year. Having said that, on your street, we're hoping to get a base coat of asphalt by December 13th. That should give you the opportunity to drive safely on your streets. And unfortunately, we'll have to complete some of the backfilling, landscape work, and top dressing of the asphalt next year. Bear with us, and as we said earlier, there's always room for improvement. We recognize that, and we're committed to do so. So on that one. Next one. Newmarket residents, the arts community, and all other stakeholders are invited to participate in a forum on the potential for public art in Newmarket and to give feedback on the town's public art policy or art plan. The forum takes place at Newmarket High School at 505 Pickering Crescent on December 4th from 7 to 9 p.m. The draft public art plan executive summary can be viewed at www.newmarket.ca. Further comments on the draft plan and the public art program can be emailed to Colin Service, Director of Recreation and Culture, at cservice at newmarket.ca. A written copy can also be delivered to the Recreation and Culture Department at 395 Mulock Drive by December 18th. And of course, if you have any questions, give me a call, 905-895-5193. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Hempel.
Thank you. My community announcement is a request for volunteers that are needed. So volunteers are needed to perform at the 2013 Live Nativity Pageant at Fairy Lake Park at Water Street on December 21st to the 24th. It's from 6 to 8:30 p.m. This event is presented by the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints and the town of Newmarket. Please dress with the appropriate clothing for cold weather. To volunteer, please register online at www.newmarket.ca, and it's under the Lifestyle tab, and you just push register to volunteer. Thank you.
Thank you. Regional Councillor.
Mr. Hempel, I want to play the wise man again. I've had that role for 25 years now, Tom. I had it as the innkeeper, but I've changed now with age.
Regional Councillor.
Thanks very much. Newmarket has a arts grants program. This was as a result of our arts gala. The mayor and I chair and supported by council and many volunteers in our community. It's entirely volunteer-driven, entirely fundraised, so not out of the budget, not from the taxpayer. But we raise about $40,000, $50,000 every year, and that goes out in grants to the community to make sure we have a vibrant arts community and to support young people who are pursuing the arts. So that program is open right now for applications. The grant categories include youth, age 17 and under, post-secondary education, that's 18 to 25, and then projects and events. And the application deadline is February the 21st, and you can either visit the website newmarket.ca and find the information there, or email artsgrants@newmarket.ca. One other little thing I want to share with people, for all those out there who volunteer or donate their time or work on charitable efforts, there is another generation coming behind you to help out. I recently received this note. I have a foundation that helps to build play equipment and play parks for kids, and I work with a group of volunteers on that. And this was an email that said, for my civics project, we were given a task to change the life of one or more people in the community. We partnered up, and on October 27th had a bake sale to raise money for your foundation. We want to help the children in Newmarket make their dreams come true. We hope this helps. From Amanda Dexter and Megan Sidorenko. So to Megan and Amanda, thank you very much for that contribution from your bake sale, and know you'll make a big impact on your community over the years.
Thank you. Councillor Twinney.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. It gives me great pleasure to congratulate the Huron Heights Warriors football team on their second consecutive win at the annual Ontario Bowl game. And it's no wonder that Huron Heights Warriors are ranked #1 in Ontario and #3 out of all the national high schools across Canada. So again this year, please come out this coming Wednesday and enjoy the parade. We will be starting the parade route at 1:30 at Ferry Lake, heading north on Main Street, east on Queen, north of Roxborough Road, and then culminating again at Huron Heights Secondary School for a rally. So please come out and help celebrate. We will be accepting non-perishable food items along the route and for the food pantry, and I hope to see lots of residents out and supporting our Huron Heights Warriors football team. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Kerwin.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Join us for Winter Wonderland, a spectacular light display at Newmarket Riverwalk Commons, 200 Doug Duncan Drive, Thursday, December the 5th, through to December the 31st from 6 to 9 p.m. Enjoy an evening skate or a train ride on the Tim Hortons Express, owned and operated by the town of Newmarket. The train will operate December the 5th to the 23rd, and from the 27th to the 30th, and January the 2nd to the 5th, weather permitting. And this activity is totally free. Also this Thursday, there is a surprise. Ted Bomers, I hope you're watching this. There will be an ice lounge which will be opened at 6 p.m., and this will be a surprise. And I compliment our staff in Recreation and Culture for coming up with this, because I know over the winter months people will enjoy the pavilion and what we're going to provide down there. So the ice lounge will be open this Thursday, December the 5th at 6 o'clock. So we'll be down there right on the dot, and I know what you will like our staff is going to provide for you. Another item, Joe mentioned construction. I would like to thank our Director of Operations in charge of capital projects and so forth, with regard to the letter that she and staff composed that went out to the residents of Sparrow Road, Thornwillow Court, and Peterwood. We also ran into a delay on that area. Rachel, I like your literary style, and I like what Bob Shelton added, that come spring, this will take top priority. We got very lucky. We didn't tear up the road. We called a halt to it when we saw the snow coming in, and I thank you for that, because it's functioning well. But to the residents of that area, I hand-delivered the letter 2 Sundays ago to the residents. I met a lot of them. I compliment the residents on Sparrow Road. All the sidewalk was shoveled by the residents. It was just incredible how people can get together to do something like that. The other thing is Hanukkah started a week ago, and it wraps up this Thursday, and I'd like to wish all people in our community of the Judaic faith a very, very happy Hanukkah. I will be celebrating it this Saturday, even though it closes on Sunday, with my friends in Toronto with whom I went to university. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Councillor Veigh.
Thank you. Tomorrow evening, on Tuesday evening at 7 o'clock, we have the Ward 1 Community Drop-In. This is a monthly community drop-in that I've been holding for a number of years now. It's at the Magna Centre. Usually and often people are just dropping in to say hello, talk about concerns, give suggestions, etc. On some occasions, though, we actually have a topic, a subject that will be discussed. In this case, working with the residents and working with the planner for the local plaza, the old Shoppers Drug Mart Plaza at Mulock, on Mulock by Bayview, we're working to get a traffic light installed at Willowick and Mulock. That's a very busy corner, and for members of council and the public, Willowick is about 1 block west of Bayview. And the difficulties the families there, there's over 400 families living in that community, the difficulties that they have is basically making a left turn into and out of their community, if you can imagine trying to turn on Mulock. And I'm sure you can all imagine it, because the problem over there is actually worse than it is over here, as you know, trying to make a left turn out of our municipal offices. So we've been working on that for a couple of months, and we are having the neighborhood meeting there. And so it'll be that tomorrow night at 7 o'clock at the Magna Centre for my Ward 1 Community Drop-In. And I've also got to mention and give a special thank you to Regional Councillor John Taylor. I have brought this problem forward to him. He's starting to discuss it with the staff at the region, because Mulock is a regional road. So thank you very much for quarterbacking that for us and at the regional level. And we know it's a long haul, and we know there's no guarantee that we're going to be successful, but we're doing everything we can to get a traffic light there and make entrances and exits to that community more convenient and safer. Thank you.
Thank you. The Salvation Army needs volunteers for their Christmas kettle and toy drive. Kettles are located throughout our community until December the 14th. I'd like you to think about helping to make a family's Christmas just a little brighter. So if you have a few moments or a couple of hours that you can donate to the Salvation Army, please call 905-895-6276. Okay. Boy, am I having trouble with numbers today. So that's until December the 24th. Thank you. Okay. I'd also ask you to consider donating something that doesn't cost you anything at all, and that's a pint of blood. There will be, the Canadian Blood Services is having a blood donors clinic at the community center on December the 20th. I'll be there to donate my 15th pint, and I would encourage our neighbors and residents of Newmarket to come out and donate some blood. And our next council meeting is on Monday, December the 16th at 7 p.m. Yeah, maybe that's it, eh? Oh, dear. I don't know what it is. Anyway, we did any new business? Councillor DiMuccio.
I wanted to ask, the COW, the council, are we having a committee meeting, council committee meeting on the 16th?
No.
No, on the next Monday, so we're not, because I know we held that date.
Sorry, Mr. Clerk?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, there is a special committee of the whole meeting at 1:30 on next Monday, the 9th.
And what is the special committee meeting?
We're just finalizing the agenda for that, but I can advise council tomorrow. It will. Mr. Shelton, I don't know if you want me to go into detail on the.
I'm just asking because it said budget, and
right.
So we're not.
Yeah, if I recall, it said budget or other urgent items.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So there's an urgent item on the agenda?
I have no idea. I haven't seen the agenda yet.
Time sensitive.
Time sensitive.
Okay.
Yeah, so, and the agenda review committee is on tomorrow, is it?
The agenda, if I may, Mr. Mayor, agenda review, we are going through that. So the agenda will come out on Thursday. And I believe that there are 3 items, at least on that agenda, that we're finalizing. And we can get those out to council members definitely by Thursday, but draft in advance.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Muccio?
Yes, sorry, Mr. Mayor. I also wanted to follow up on The site plan committee meeting that we had today, I was told that somebody said that they did not see the ad that we have in the paper. Is that correct? Did we put something out there? They couldn't find it on the website. They didn't. It wasn't in the paper. I just want to make sure that we followed that process.
I have to.
Mr. Prentice, I guess that would be a planning matter. There's a standard notification process?
I'll have to check that tomorrow, Mr. Mayor, as to when that would, if it is published, at what time prior to the meeting it's published. I couldn't answer that off the top of my head. But we'll check, it would be on last Thursday's paper.
So there is a process for a site plan. We do have to publish it in the paper. Could you just tell me what that process is?
I couldn't verify that. With respect to a site plan agreement, I'm not certain that that's the case.
So we're not sure if there's a public process that we have these meetings, or?
There is a public process. However, I'm not certain that they're advertised in the paper.
Okay. Well,
We'll check that.
What that is? Okay. Thank you.
In any event, those minutes do come forward to council, which is a public meeting, and there's an opportunity for people to come forward at that time as well as committee of the whole. Okay. All right. Any other new business items? Doesn't look like anybody in the queue. Closed session, there was none required at this point. Confirmatory bylaws. Councillor Sponga, seconded by Councillor Emmanuel. All those in favor? That is carried. Adjournment.
Motion to adjourn.
Councillor Sponga, Councillor Emmanuel, all those in favor? That is carried. Thank you.